Dave Andreychuk right there. We talked to Z a second ago, saw him hoisting the cup. Dave is doing this thing. I mean, what a feeling that must be down there in Tampa, and that team still kind of being that. I mean, they're a modern day what's the word I'm looking for? I just almost said fantasy. Modern day dynasty. Good Lord. You're with it, Mike. But welcome in, Dave Andreychuk. Hey, Andy, we were talking during the break here for the fans who weren't a part of that. We just talked to Z about doing marathons. I joke with you about it, and you're biking 100 miles. Like, you do all that stuff too?
Yeah.
Good Lord. What's wrong with us?
The hardest part is swimming. There's no doubt. You know, he's got to be lighter than me. I know he's actually taller, but he has to be lighter. At 250, it's hard to swim, a mile. But I have done some biking. I did a half marathon during the lockout. I would never do it again. It killed me. Try doing the half marathon during the lockout, and then the following year doing Torch's training camp. Yeah, at 40 years old, that was just not the smartest thing to do.
Andy, I saw you last spring. You're looking svelte, man. You lost quite a bit of weight. I told you that too.
Well, I think I've, you get into a little routine, and I'm sure he talked about it, my buddies on the golf course were sick of me competing against them. So you got to find something else, to do. And you challenge yourself, right? You challenge yourself.
Hey, we're looking forward to this game here tonight. Where's the state of the Lightning right now? How are they doing? I mean, this is a big matchup between these two teams that kind of are trying to find their way in these early stages of the season.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a transition. The way how the Lightning work, and how Julian Brisebois and the cap and everything else. There's always going to be a turnover. It's Killorn now. It was Palat. It was Yanni Gourde. It was Barclay Goodrow. There's always going to be some main guy that is going to move on, right? And you're now going to fill those pieces. So I think that takes a little while. We saw that, last year a little bit. It took them a little while to get going. And then all of a sudden you get the news of Vasilevsky, right? I think that was, for us and everybody here in Tampa, we weren't really sure. Jonas Johansson, 35 games in the NHL, how's it going to go? He's been tremendous. Let me tell you, he has been tremendous. But I think they're still kind of finding their way a little bit. And to me, we all said, keep your head above water until Vasi gets back. But I think the kid's been really, really good for him. And, and this might help Andre. He's played a lot of hockey in the last little while, as you guys know. His team has played a lot of hockey, and he's played, majority of the games. So getting a little rest and getting himself ready. And I think keeping him out of hockey he's going to be even better when he comes back.
Oh, you just stole my question there. I was going to dive into the goaltending right away, but I think you nailed it in that you can't replace Vasilevsky, obviously, but you just got to stay afloat. And I think I got a chance to play with JoJo briefly in Colorado there my last year, and he's a big kid. He's almost as big as I am. He's extremely athletic, a lot like Vasilevsky, although no one's really like Vasilevsky, but. I think it's good for him to have this opportunity and kind of put himself in that backup position. But I was just going to ask you how proud you were of that
no
group.
No doubt. I mean, let's say we sign him, right? You sign him, he's going to play, a max of 20 games. I think that's, and it's important, as you guys probably have said many times before. This backup goaltender, those 40 points. Or 40 or so points, you're either in the playoffs or you're out of the playoffs, right? Because of that, your backup goalie. So. They've had some veteran guys here in the past, and now you've kind of gone a little younger. So, but I don't know him personally. I haven't been around the team enough. Haven't been on a road trip. I talked to him, at camp a little bit. Hey, how you doing? So I don't know him as a guy. But let me tell you, it's finding him, from Colorado and. Him just slotting it in. He's played every game except 2, and he's been good.
Now, Dave, are you still doing a lot of the same stuff you had been doing when I played there with the community stuff and bringing people and families in to meet and mingle a little bit with the players?
Yeah, you know, as you know, Boiler, I mean, it starts at the top with Jeff Vinik there in Tampa, and we all kind of all trickles down, right? Like it's the getting back into the community, and that was something that I originally kind of signed on for after I retired. I've done a little bit with minor hockey, kind of gotten away from that a little bit. We've got a whole bunch of guys that now are in the area, the Vinny Lecaviers and Adam Hall. These guys are all coaching their kids now, so I've kind of stepped away from that a little bit. But we're still out. We're still promoting our game. I think it's really helped us, have the 300 plus sellouts that we've had in a row because of us being out in the community. So yeah, and I enjoy it, right? I feel like as what the game has given to me, I got to give back to the game, and this community has treated me really well. So still doing that, Boiler, and as you know, it's a big part of who the Lightning are.
Well, and the alumni thing got going last spring when I got to go down there. That was awesome. We got something on tap for this spring, because I'd love to get back down to Tampa.
We do, yeah. We started the Lightning Hall of Fame last year. Obviously, Phil Esposito was an obvious choice, and then Marty and Vinny with their numbers retired and up in the rafters, we put them in too. So don't know who the two guys this year will be, but it's going to be kind of an annual thing. We do have, the 20th anniversary of that cup this year. So that group has been talking about coming into town for that March event. So should be fun. It's hard to believe that this franchise has been around this long. We have lots of people, I run into now, young kids that never watched me play, but their dads did. You know how that goes in the Toronto area. That goes on all the way back to your great grandfather. So, but it's fun for all those guys to get together in March, and that's going to be an annual thing.
Sweet.
Speaking of that Stanley Cup, it was a year before I was drafted, growing up in Calgary. So you shattered my heart there as a Calgary kid.
Sorry
but
about that.
That's
okay.
Sorry
about that. Yeah.
It was a
not
fantastic.
really.
Not really.
Yeah. Give us some core memories of. Obviously, there was a ton of stuff, but what really sticks out to you about that run and that? I mean, obviously, the first Stanley Cup there. But what were a couple things that you really remember?
Well, first off, that team putting that team together, you think of those guys that were on that team, and I grew up with them, right? You don't just win the cup in 1 year. It takes a little while for you to get to that point. We lost to New Jersey the year before. Jersey went on to win the Stanley Cup. And then, we pretty much led from start to finish, to be honest with you. And Torts kept us under wrap, kept us grounded a little bit. We were in first place. And I think we talked about it a lot, getting that seventh game in your building, having that home ice advantage. And, we used it in the last two rounds. It was a heck of a series against Philadelphia. It was a battle royale. We got through that. And then, we're on to the finals, and you're playing, it's kind of U.S. versus Canada, which it was made out to be, but it really wasn't, because I think we had more Canadians on our team than they did on theirs. But I will never forget, going up to Calgary. It did take us a little ways to get up there. We had to stop in North Dakota for fuel. But just the atmosphere was just phenomenal, right? Everybody in the town had a red jersey on. It was really, really cool to play with. They were very respectful for my parents and my family, which, I appreciated. It didn't happen so much in Philly. So it was cool. It was really, really cool. I think that just that experience. And then, of course, nothing better than a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup final. And, fortunate enough, we got her done at home. Not a great game in Game 6 to go up there to try to win, knowing that they were going to have that. I mean, those were two games that I'll never forget for sure.
Well, Andy, we appreciate you hopping on here. If we get down to the area, we should get together for a pop, maybe sling some Torts stories, or go for a bike ride, one of the two, both maybe?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, a little round of golf would be good. A little round of golf, I could give you my Torch stories. We'd have to have Probably a few rounds of golf to get them all in, but yeah, for sure.
All right, man.
Definitely.
All right, take care. Thanks
All
again.
right, guys.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Andy.
You got it. Take care.